I learned two things from watching this episode of Golden Kamuy. Nihei Tetsuzo loves bears, and he also loves boners. The Golden Kamuy conundrum continues. Is this a hardcore wilderness exploration action series, or is it just a ridiculous comedy filled with boner jokes and ridiculous goofy facial expressions? It's hard to tell with this one, but I really do love where the story is going in this current arc of Golden Kamuy. We have these two groups who are going off on their very own missions, but eventually they are going to intersect into all sorts of craziness. This episode was mostly a showcase for the brand new character of Nihei Tetsuzo, who is a former prisoner of Abashiri Prison, who also has the tattoo all over his body. So he's one of the people that Sugimoto and Asirpa are looking for. But what's also unique about this guy is that he's also a very famous hunter who happened to live in these mountains before he was actually sent to prison. And he's a renowned bear hunter. He's really good at it. He's basically the ultimate woodsman. He lives by his very own law, the law of the mountains. He's immediately a really fun character, but he also has a very abrasive, brash, and very crass personality, considering that he's constantly making jokes about boners, getting stiffies, getting erect. He's certainly a manly man kind of character, and watching him on screen is great, whether it's his ridiculous haircut or just how incredibly passionate he is about hunting bears. But he's tired of hunting bears. He's killed over 200 himself. It's time to move on to something a little more lucrative. And this hunter is looking for the ultimate prey, the last white wolf on the mountain, which just so happens to be Retar, the wolf that's good friends with Asirpa. So immediately we know that these two groups are going to run into each other, and it's going to lead to all sorts of crazy stuff. The reason this is going to happen is because Sugimoto and Asirpa are trying to hunt down this deer throughout the entire episode, and then you have Nihei and the other soldier from the previous episode who's also going after this wolf, who apparently is from another clan of people known as the Matagi. And just like the Ainu, I don't know that much about their culture, but it seems quite similar to the Ainu culture in many senses. These are people who are attached to the land and to the animals and to nature, and Nihei basically takes advantage of the fact that this soldier is a Matagi so that he can sort of manipulate him. He basically makes it seem as if he's sort of like given up his culture just to be a part of like a bigger, stronger force, to be a part of the Japanese military. He almost sort of sways him into his side throughout this entire episode, and you can see that he's having a great influence on this character. Of course, this guy wants the wolf, but he needs help from one of the greatest hunters in the entire world, and that's Nihei right there. And throughout the entire episode, getting to see them just constantly almost meet each other, almost to just evade each other, adds to a lot of tenseness throughout the entire episode. That, and we got actually some more solid development from Sugimoto himself, who's still suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder from the war, whether it be the creepy dreams he has, or the fact that he gets kind of trigger shy during a really tense scene where they're about to kill this deer, which has already been wounded, and to the point where it should almost be dead, where this what is probably, I think, one of the biggest metaphorical scenes of the entire episode, where this deer just comes, like, plowing out of the woods, and Sugimoto is directly in his path, and he's about to shoot it, but he realizes on its wound on its side, where the blood is coming out, that it's turned to red icicles. The body heat of this animal is so low that it's actually forming blood icicles on its body, and he can't bring himself to shoot it, because he realizes that he sees himself in this creature as this thing which is desperately trying to survive. Basically, he just went through sort of like this weird vision quest moment where he saw himself in the animal and just couldn't bring himself to bring it down. It was sort of an epiphany moment for his character. Luckily, of course, Asirpa and her wolf are there to end up taking this thing out. And, of course, they're going to eat it, because why the hell wouldn't they? They end up giving some of the scraps to Retar, which is not even scraps, this is just a giant leg, and watching him walk away with that through the blinding snow and going into the darkness is just all sorts of metal. I really love that. And Asirpa and Sugimoto actually decide to leave a good chunk of this carcass behind so that Retar can actually chew on it for a little midnight snack later. So Nihei actually takes advantage of this, and they end up building a camp right there waiting for the wolf to return so that they can finally take it down. And by the end of the episode, it finally happens. We have the moment where he finally has the wolf in his crosshairs, and right as he's about to take it out, a Sirpa manages to save the day by scaring the wolf away, and that's when we have our first confrontation between these characters, and things get nutty. The final scene is absolutely awesome. I love the way Sugimoto fights. He always has some sort of trick up his sleeve, and he takes out a knife and ends up cutting off Nihei's fingers, stabbing right through his forearm, only for Nihei to come down with the butt of his gun, slamming it right into Sugimoto's face, only for him to look up with the blood drenching over his face like, oh dude, you just fucked with the wrong guy! And then of course the episode ends right there, because why else would it not end right there? It's a great cliffhanger. So what's the rundown on this episode of Golden Kamuy? Golden Kamuy might not have the best animation and artwork around, but it is absolutely carried by its story and its characters, not to mention all of that incredibly cold atmosphere. You always feel like you're out in the elements when you're watching this series. You always want to bundle up with a big old blanket, despite the fact that summer is beginning. This is a show that I think will add a little bit of a chill to your holiday season. What I really loved about this episode, though, was just how much they dived into Nihei, who is such a fun and over-the-top character. He fits perfectly in this world, where things look like they're really serious, but these characters are ridiculous and quirky. There's a great scene where Shiraishi Yoshitaki actually returns, and he ends up having a communal dinner with Sugimoto and a Sirpa, and he even brings some sake along, and they basically all get shit-faced, with Sugimoto having a ridiculous expression, only to be followed by a Sirpa doing one of the funniest things that I have seen in the entire series. Basically, it almost looks like she's drunk herself too, which is funny because she's underage and is drinking, and that's ridiculous. But there's this moment where she realizes she loves the food so much that her excitement causes her to explode through the roof of the little teepee that they just made, and she just comes out straight, like she's like friggin' like planking out like a friggin' arrow just sticking out of there, and it's up to Sugimoto, who, after sobering up, decides to literally, like, pull her out, almost as if she's, like, a splinter. It's so ridiculous, the expressions in this show. Whether it be her really weird old Japanese woman face, or Sugimoto's incredibly hilarious drunk look with his lower underlip and his hat turned to the side, the facial expressions in this show are hilarious and side-splitting. This is a series that has some of the most awkward but incredibly funny humor, and it is such a juxtaposition to the cold, harsh elements of the other part of the series. And honestly, it's pulling it off really well. A lot of the times, something like that, a move like that, can completely bury a series. Golden Kamuy completely owns it every single time, and it's just awesome. I loved it. And I loved this episode right here. It was a great showcase for Nihei the Bear Hunter, and I can't wait to see more of his confrontation with Sugimoto and his friends in the following episode. I'm sure it's going to end quite violently. What I will say is this episode right here was pretty freaking solid. It didn't have the best animation and artwork in the world, but for the story and the characters, I'm really loving this one. Even with some of the crass humor from Nihei, this was a 5 out of 5 in my opinion. And you guys definitely need to be checking out this very unique anime series. It's also got me interested in the manga version as well. But I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. You can tell me what you thought about this episode of Golden Kamuy in the comments section below, and what you hope to see from the rest of the series. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, stay down, baby.